Hello, BookTube. I'm back to do a tag. The dastardly Mark from Book Time with Elvis has tagged me into the. Ugh. It is the worst book tag that there ever has been for a book lover because it makes you think about books, all the books that you want but can't actually get. It is called the To Die For tag, and was created by Peter the Book Lover. Original video apparently is unavailable. Mark was tagged by another bibliophile reads, and it's to choose 5 books you want to buy and talk about them. Well, as Mark said, there are many that I want to buy, and I could talk about forever. Sorry, get comfortable here. Well, and so I've whittled it down to 5 that I've been sort of thinking about for a little while, and these could change obviously at any time. The first one is no surprise to everybody. It's a Clifford D. Simak book. There's a bit of a theme here actually, and it's The Solar System: Our New Front Yard. It's a nonfiction book that he wrote in 1962, published for St. Martin's Press. It is the last of the nonfiction books that he wrote and or edited that I need to do my complete read-through. I can't even find an ebook of it, but it's quite rare, and it is very expensive. Rare in the sense that there's only a few listed on the internet. There would have been a lot printed. A lot of them would have went into libraries, but it's just I keep looking, and I'd be perfectly happy to get an ex-library copy. And this is one of his here that he edited on Science. I was really lucky to get that. It was less than £3, I think, with shipping, and it said ex-library, and it's not. So I was really pleased with that. So yeah, and it's as what it says in the title. It's a sort of overview, obviously out of date, and it's written more for younger people. But it's Clifford Simak. So what else can I say? You know, it's something I need. You know, it's not that I want. It's that I need this. And again, going back to Clifford D. Simak, it's Clifford D. Simak, a primary and secondary bibliography that was compiled by Muriel R. Becker, published in 1980 by G.K. Hall. It is the best bibliography. There's a few errors in it. There's a few omissions. And obviously it was done in 1980, and Simak lived till 1988. So there is a gap there. It's never, ever been updated. But there's a lot of good stuff in there. It's an annotated bibliography to a lesser extent. There's an interview there as well. And yeah, and it's something that I've wanted for quite a while. And yeah, so that's another one. It was originally done as a series of books of bibliographies for science fiction writers, and they're all like very expensive now and long out of print. Now, to sort of move away from Simak for the moment, yes, I say for the moment, I would love to get the new Folio Society edition of Dracula by Bram Stoker. It came out maybe about a year ago, or almost a year ago. Is that a dark hair? No, it just looks dark. It's illustrated by Angela Barrett, and introduction by John Banneville. And I've wanted this because I want a really nice hardcover of Dracula. I've got other editions, reading editions, but I've always wanted a nice eye candy Dracula that wouldn't break the bank, you know. And this isn't too bad. I'm hoping I can actually get it someday before it disappears, like all the other ones that the Folio Society have put out. And it's also a readable copy as well. It's not only nice, but it's a readable copy. It's not worth so much money that you're afraid of, you know, and in this week dropping a drop of sweat on it or something. Yeah, and then going back to science fiction, not Simak, this one, is a book that was written in 1954 by Sam Moskowitz. I've been trying to track this down for decades, really. And I know it's out there, but it's very pricey, and regardless of what form it is. The Immortal Storm, A History of Science Fiction Fandom. And more specifically, it's the history of science fiction fandom in New York City, more or less, in the 1930s. And it's been reputed as, if you ever want to know the underbelly of humanity, you read this book. It was reprinted by, I think, Hyperion Press in the 70s, but that's long out of print as well, and worth a lot of money. It's I think the Advent publishers have done it as well. It's been reprinted several times, but it's the price is just well, I wouldn't say astronomical, but we're talking, you know, hundreds of pounds. That's, you know, or hundreds of dollars even for a rough copy. And I've wanted. I really like Sam Moskowitz. He's a controversial character in many ways, writer as well, because he there's errors that are in his sort of bibliographical and biographical, I should say, more biographical material of science fiction authors. He's been accused of making some things up, but I don't know how true that is. I'm not sure how you... Well, anyway, I just don't know. I don't know. But also, he was a really good editor. He edited tons and tons of books. You can see one right there. I think that's it. It's Women. Women Rule in science fiction stories. And yeah, and he did all sorts of stuff. He's also... I think he wrote a biography of Algernon Blackwood as well. I've never read that one, but he's done anthologies of ghost stories, you know, introductions to all sorts of things. And this one here, because he was right in the forefront of this when this was happening in New York. And, you know, there's the likes of Donald A. Wollheim, Damon Knight, Isaac Asimov, Frederick Pohl, you know, the list goes on of, you know, the luminaries of Golden Age and early science fiction that will be in this book. Lester Del Rey also, I believe, should be in there. And then the fifth one, I will go back. We're traveling back to Simak country. And I would love to have a first edition of City, preferably if it's something that I can't and never afford, I might as well go whole hog. I want it signed by Clifford Simak and signed by Kelly Freas, who did the cover artwork, and that was published in 1952 by Gnome Press, and it has to be in pristine condition. So yeah, there's no use pretending unless you pretend big. Really? So yeah, so City, 1952, Gnome Press, signed by Cliff and signed by Kelly Freas. So there's my 5 books to die. Who do I tag? Not sure everybody who's done it. I'll tag Brandy at Book Eclectic. I'll tag... fire truck going in the usual opposite direction than normal. Anyway, so Brandy at Book Eclectic and Jason, Jason Harrigan, and anybody else who wants to do this, because I'm not sure who has. Oh well, if David Wiley hasn't done this, I'll tag David Wiley. I'm pretty sure Michael K. Vaughan has. Well, I'll throw him in as well, just in case. Just in case. I'll have to check to see another bibliophile reads and see who he has tagged. I watched the video, but I glanced at it, but I can't remember. I blame it on the heat. It's not old age, not at all. Anyway, I'll see you next time, BookTube, and I hope you're keeping cool. It has cooled down outside here, but it's going to take days for it to cool down indoors. And until then, it's going to be basically a sweat house. Talk to you soon, BookTube. Bye.